Hello, everyone. Welcome to First Rule of Book Club, brought to you by the Perry County Public Library and me, Miss Jessie Chandler, the Children's Youth Services Librarian. And today we're going to be talking about different books and book recommendations for young adult books. And our first rule of book club is content aimed at ages 13 and over. So this is our teen book club, but anyone is welcome to read these books. The first book we're going to talk about is The Burning Shadow by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And as you can see, this is a book that we have in the library. I'm sorry for the glare. And this is called The Burning Shadow. It was released on October 23rd, 2020. And it starts with, when Evelyn Dasher crossed paths with Luke, she was thrown headfirst into the world of Lux, only to discover that she was already far more involved in the world than she ever suspected. Because the Luxon aren't the only ones with a hidden past. There's a gap in Evie's memory that something's happened. A sense of something that has happened. Something she can't remember, and nobody is willing to tell her. She needs to find out the truth about who she is and who she was. But every answer she finds only brings up more questions. Her search for the truth brings her ever closer to Luke, the origin at the center of it all. He's powerful, arrogant, inhumanely beautiful, extremely dangerous, impossibly in love with her. But even as Evie falls for him, she can't help but wonder if his attraction to her or if the memory of the girl who no longer exists. And all the while, a new threat looms. Reports of a flu-like, fatal virus that the government insists is being spread by the Luxon. A horrifying illness that changes whomever it touches, spreading panic across a country that is already at its breaking point. And this is The Burning Shadow by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And she also has another book called The Darkest Star. And if you would like to check this novel out, you can call or you can go online and you can put a reserve with your library card. Or if you don't have a library card, you're more than willing to come in and we can sign you up for your very own library card to check out this novel. The next book is The Kingdom of Sea and Stone, a sequel to Crown of Coral and Pearl by Mara Rutherford. She risked everything to save her kingdom, but the crown's fate still hangs in the balance. Not long ago, Nor would have given anything to explore Alara, the kingdom beyond her sea village of Verania. But ever since she was forced into the world in her sister's stead, Nora has wanted nothing more than to return to the place and people she loves. After Alarian court politics take a deadly turn, Nora's wish comes true. Not only in the way that she hoped for. Verania is now facing the wrath of Alara, and Nor is cast out in blame. When Prince Talon arrives with news that changes everything, Nor knows a war is coming. Together with her twin sister Zadie, Nor must rescue their childhood best friend and seek new allies to fight alongside their small army. As an old enemy resurfaces more powerful than ever, Nor will have to harness all of her strength to keep the kingdom from falling apart. There are forces within the world more mysterious than Nor ever guessed, and she'll need to stay alive long enough to conquer them. This came out on October 6th of 2020, and it is the sequel to Crown of Coral and Pearl. Its name is Kingdom of Sea and Stone by Mara Rutherford. Our next book is Wolf's Curse by New York best-selling author Kelly Armstrong. Return to the other world, a new generation, a new adventure. For Kate and Logan Danvers, 16-year-old twins of the Werewolf Alpha, nothing could ruin a summer faster than the words Supernatural Teen Leadership Conference. They expected a boring week of earnest political discussions and team-building exercises. Instead, they got a crash course in real-life leadership when the camp imploded and the twins and their new friends fled to the West Virginia forest. Now the group has taken refuge in a magically warded cabin, only to discover that they might have been safer taking the chances with the demon outside. Trapped in a dark witch's sanctuary, surrounded by hellhounds, the twins will need to hone their leader and team building skills fast. And that is Wolf's Curse by Kelly Armstrong. The next book we're going to discuss is The Mirror Broken Wish by Julie C. Dow. Family curses always start somewhere, don't they though? There's power in a promise, no matter who you make it to. The most powerful are made when magic is involved. If you break one of those promises, you release its energy into the world, Matilda said. Agnes found that she was holding her breath. What happens then? No one knows. Where magic gives, it can also take, in ways that no one can foresee. And this is from The Mirror, and it's Broken Wish. And this came out on October 9th of 2020. And this marks the first book in an innovative young adult series written by Julie C. Dow, Danielle Clayton, J.C. Caravance, and L.L. McKinney, following the family over several generations and the curse that plagues it. Welcome to a new sort of fairy tale. Broken Wish. This one is book 12, a part of a series that we have here at the library, at the Prairie County Public Library, and this is a pretty popular series that gets checked out often. We have several staff members that have read this series and seem to enjoy it, and this is the Ranger's Apprentice series. And this is book 12, The Royal Ranger by John Flanagan. Like I said, this is a long-standing series. This is book 12. We do have the other books in the series for checkout. Will Treaty has come a long way from the small boy with dreams of knighthood. Life has other plans for him, and as an apprentice ranger under Halt, he grew into a legend. The finest ranger the kingdom has ever known. Yet Will is facing a tragic battle that has left him grim and alone. To add to his problems, the time has come to take on an apprentice of his own, and is the last person he would ever have expected. Fighting his personal demons, Will has to win the trust and respect of his difficult new companion, a task that at times seems almost impossible. John Flanagan returns for one final bow to the series that has conquered millions of readers worldwide with this pulse-pounding adventure that brings one era to a close and ushers in the next. So like I said, this is part of the Ranger's Apprentice series. We do have them here at the library for checkout. And this is book 12, The Royal Ranger. We have this book too. This is a copy that I have in the children's section, and this is by author Kresley Cole, and it's The Poison Princess, and this is from the Arcana Chronicles. Evie could save the world or destroy it. After 16-year-old Evie Green started experiencing horrifying hallucinations, an apocalyptic event decimated her Louisiana hometown, and she realizes her hallucinations has been visions of the future. Fighting for her life and desperate for answers, she turns to the wrong side of the Bayou classmate, Jack Devereaux. He agrees to protect Evie as they race to find the source of her visions, but Evie knows she can't totally trust Jack. On the road, they meet others like Evie, kids with special powers. They learn that the ancient prophecy is being played out, and they are among a group of teens chosen to reenact the ultimate battle between good and evil. But it's not always clear who is on which side. And this is part of the Arcana Chronicles. There are several books in this series. I think at last count, there's 5 in this series. And this is the first one. This is called Poison Princess by Kresley Cole. This is also part of a series of books. This is a James Patterson Presents novel, Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. This one doesn't really have a description on the back, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a couple of pages from this novel. 1. Preliminary Incision. Dr. Jonathan Wadsworth, Laboratory, Highgate, 30th August, 1888. I placed my thumb and forefinger on the icy flesh, spreading it taut above the breastbone as Uncle had showed me. Getting the preliminary incision correct was imperative. I took my time eyeing the placement of metal upon skin, ensuring proper angling for the cleanest cut. I felt Uncle hovering behind me, studying my every move, but had my view set entirely on the blade in my hand. Without hesitation, I dragged the scalpel from one shoulder to the sternum, taking pains to push as deeply as I could. My brows raised a fraction before I schooled my face into an unreadable mask. Human flesh flayed much easier than I anticipated. It wasn't much different from cutting into a pork loin prior to its roasting. I thought that should have been more disturbing than in what it was. A sickening sweet scent wafted from the incision I'd made. The cadaver wasn't as fresh as the others. I had a sneaking suspicion not all of our subjects were obtained through proper legal or voluntary channels, and was regretting waving away Uncle's earlier offer of a breathing apparatus. Foggy wisps of breath escaped my lips, and I refused to give in to building shivers. I stepped back, my slippers lightly crunching sawdust, and examined my work. Blood barely seeped up from the wound. It was too thick and dead to flow crimson, and too foreign to be truly frightening. Had the man been dead less than 36 hours, it might have spilled upon the table, then onto the floor, saturating the sawdust. I wiped the blade on my apron, leaving an inky streak in its wake. It was a fine incision indeed. So this is very much a medical / horror / it's based on Jack the Ripper, so it is partly historical, but it is fiction historical. So this is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. And the last book we're going to talk about today is Vanishing Girls by Lauren Oliver. Alarming and uplifting, a rare psychological thriller that has a kind heart at its center. Read it with all the lights on. E. Lockhart, author of We Were Liars. Dara and Nick used to be inseparable, and that was before the accident that left Dara's beautiful face scarred and the two sisters totally estranged. When Dara vanishes on her birthday, Nick thinks Dara is just playing around. But another girl, 9-year-old Madeline Snow, has vanished too, and Nick becomes increasingly convinced that two disappearances are linked. Now Nick has to find her sister before it's too late. In this edgy and compelling novel, bestsellers author Lauren Oliver creates a world of intrigue, loss, and suspicion as two sisters search to find themselves and each other. And I hope that you guys liked and are interested in some of the books that we've discussed today. And I hope that you come into the Perry County Public Library with your library card or to get a library card made so you can check out these novels in the future. Bye, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day.